Morning. How's everybody doing? Let me make sure I got everything set here. Gotta make sure I got my antacids at hand. Okay, where are we starting here? Yo, John, how you doing, man? Quack. Okay, I think I can figure this out. Realized there was way too much of a shelf going on with his knee. The tunnel vision gets fun when you're drawing, but like it does lead to some kind of ridiculous results sometimes. Hey Lee, how you doing, man? Just get this a little bit more random looking. Realized it was looking like, I don't know, just a bit too rote. Oh, thanks, man. I mean, you can't go wrong with underlighting, right? I think my biggest difficulty is always trying to get enough shadow in there and try to make it look random enough, because I tend to get kind of formulaic about it. Speaking of, let's make this a little bit deeper, I think. Again, easy to kind of just get stuck in a loop where you're just like doing basic shading on the forms. It's like, well, that's not really achieving what we want in terms of drama, though. There. Deeper forearm shadows. Now that's drama. Oh yeah, like this channel's all about learning. If you don't achieve brain growth, brain cell multiplication as a result of watching my videos, you can ask for your money back. At which point I will generally go, okay, you know what, give me some money first, and I will consider giving some of it back. Fair enough. I see. So we were talking about the pop group from the mid 2000s then, with Left Eye and all them, right? I mean, I know I learned a lot from them. All right, I don't think we need to get into the Bush administration. I don't know that that's going to help anything. Exactly. They don't want no scrubs. That's the most important thing. Scrub is a guy that can't get no love from the Bush administration. Exactly. You know, we were all learning lessons back in the day. Maybe not the ones they intended, but those are the most important kind of lessons. Those are the ones that stick the longest. And hey, Mongoose, hey, Sheldon, how you guys doing? This is going to turn into a TLC like fan appreciation live stream. I'm okay with it. I know like maybe 2 of their songs. I think I can join in with effect. That's it. Passenger side of his best friend's ride. See, I mean, I couldn't even correct you there. Okay, let's get in on the face a little bit here before it completely fades away. It won't get no love from you, John? I agree. I remember when I was younger, I assumed, like, you know, oh, yeah, I'll totally just keep up with music because, you know, I like all sorts of stuff. And did not foresee that guitar would basically disappear. The police got it from the other guys. No. What was the other guys? Is that the Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell thing? It is too. Okay. I don't think I ever actually watched that one. Now maybe I should. There's just not enough TLC content out there. You gotta soak up everything you can, right? And I do recall the Weird Al version. Maybe not one of his more inspired parodies, but that's okay. You know, when you're cranking out parodies, they're not all going to be my baloney. taking some more liberties with the look of these guys. They can't all be eaten. Yeah, you know. Let's. Do these guys have pointy ears? I'm kind of all over the place in how faithful I'm being to the originals, but I feel like I should try. Those do look like pointy ears. They do have pointy ears. Okay, thank you, Sheldon. Oh, I already drew a pointy ear on this guy down here. You think I'd just like be consistent, maybe? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoy it. Hey, Robo, how you doing, buddy? Well, I feel like artistic interpretation is just another word for taking liberties. It's just people like eye rolling and going, okay, you artist people, you do what the fuck you like. I don't, who am I? I'm just the guy who came up with the shit. Oh, man. Oh, that's shitty. Yeah, I know. Hope everybody turned out okay in that, then. Never know. I gotta get this light a little bit closer. I can barely see what I'm doing sometimes. Okay, hang on. Should we do it that way? That probably won't work too well. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, come on. Okay. How do you, there we go. I'm like, how does this light work? I used to know. That did nothing whatsoever except put the light within headbutting range. There's a little bit of clearing teeth going on here, but I think it's working anyway. Oh shit! Light just dropped out of nowhere. This is the thing. I keep it in the same position for like months straight, and then you try to move it. It's like, okay, well, how about if the hinge just completely gives up the ghost thing? Would that work out for you? Okay, let's see what this hair. Oh, you know what? I should do the spire in the middle here because I'm gonna forget what's there. I start drawing the hair over where the spire is. Guaranteed. Yeah, that looks okay. Yeah. A Star Spring. I mean, definitely is elements of gargoyles in here, but this is more vampires. But yeah, no, I have been keeping them in mind. I guess with the big pointy hands too, that does kind of go in that direction. Didn't think about that. I was thinking Legacy of Kain. So your introduction to Keith David was Keith David on Gargoyles? Oh, he was Goliath. Really? Okay. Shit. I haven't watched that shit for friggin' ever. Yeah, we should come up with kind of a look for. Yeah, no, would not have. I don't really have a memory of what that show sounded like in my head. So Couldn't have picked Goliath's voice. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I listened to it for the first time, be like, okay, see if you can identify any of these voice actors. I'm not good at that, but I probably could have picked up Keith David anyway. Jonathan Frakes is in there, really. Yeah, Riker was the bad guy. That's interesting. I played the first Legacy of Kain. The second was a different character, so I didn't. Yeah, I had both. I didn't get very far. I mean, I got kind of far in the first one, and then I got stuck on something and couldn't figure out how to get past it. It might have just been a case of I didn't have whatever the thing was I needed to progress, but I didn't have access to a walkthrough or anything. You know, there was no internet at the time. Not in any way. At the very least, I didn't have any. Marina Sirtis was Goliath's ex, was she? Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. And it looks like Biff was in there somewhere. Doesn't credit him, so maybe it was just a one episode kind of thing. Like, doesn't give him an actual voice credit name. Worf seems to, yeah, Michael Dorn seems to have done quite a bit of voice acting, really, over the years. Tim Curry's in there. There's some names. Frank Welker, of course. LeVar Burton, just like all the... Brent Spiner. So just all the TNG guys got in on it, eh? I feel like Marina Sirtis was the one with the biggest role. Maybe she just kind of brought everybody in. Yeah. I mean, that shit happens all the time, right? Yeah, I love the look of the first Legacy of Kain. The Ve Victus, all that shit. Like, just the... Yeah, it was pretty gory for, like, a late 90s PC game. Although, yeah, there were a few pretty gory PC games. It was more my brother that got into Soul Reaver. I don't know if I would have it would have occurred to me, or if I even would have made the connection, really. And I wasn't playing as many PC video games at that point. But then he started playing that, and I mean, I was kind of into it from the get-go with that opening cinematic, which was pretty great. When Frakes directs a show now, there's usually a TNG cast member in there somewhere. Yeah. I believe it. And, you know, why not? Everybody who was ever on that show has been like, who had a main role in that show was pretty typecast, right? Unless your name was fucking Patrick Stewart. In which case, you got typecast as Professor X as well. For sure, all you were playing then was PS2 and 3 fighting games. Yeah. I played a lot of Resident Evil. Like, I would finish Resident Evil 2 and then restart it, and I did that over and fucking over. Not so much 3, because 3 was stressful. Having the Nemesis chase you around everywhere. I didn't need that shit. Patrick did have a career before TNG, yes. But I mean, that did very much make him a household name, I think. That's how pretty much everybody saw him after that until he was Professor X, and then it's like, okay, he's one of those too. I remember the fan casting in Wizard before the X-Men movie came out, and it was always Patrick Stewart. You got to get Patrick Stewart to be a Professor X, and it actually fucking happened. That was some wild shit. Yeah, that was kind of the story with Soul Reaver, was that Kane, yeah, cast out Raziel because he evolved beyond Kane anyway. Like, Kane was evolving, but Raziel took the leap past him to develop wings. Like McKellen as Magneto, yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, I think McKellen had a bigger, um, well, not role, but I don't know. He had a bigger kind of catalog for movies that he'd been in. Okay, calm down a little bit. I don't want you to yell over you. He had a bigger catalog of movies he was in before he started on the X-Men Gandalf. He was mostly a stage actor, yes, but he was also I've seen him in a few movies before those, well, and after those movies, actually. Patrick Stewart, I feel like, usually got smaller roles until TNG. Was he in Last Action Hero? See, I didn't even know that. I'm thinking more like Life Force, personally. I know he does, like, occasionally get, like, well, not even occasionally. He does get roles that have nothing to do with the stuff he's mostly known for these days, but it tends to be kind of a, what's, like an Easter egg almost, where it's like, hey, look, it's Captain Picard. He's being a villain in this one. McKellen was death in Last Action. Oh, okay. I remember seeing Green Room, and Patrick Stewart plays like a white supremacist gang leader. It's like, what? There's a departure. He's pretty good too. Imagine that. That is a messed up movie. It's a good movie, but it is not in the business of making you feel good. The most dapper skin. Yeah, kind of. It was a wreck, but wasn't bad. Okay, good. That's good. Glad to hear that. There's a particularly treacherous. I mean, the main road where I live, it gets kind of treacherous in spots. So I've seen my fair share of accidents around here. So it's always good when when you can mostly ascertained that everyone got out okay. Oh, really? One time Metallica was playing One Town Over, never see more Rex in your life. Okay. People getting a little frantic trying to get to that Metallica show, huh? That is something I would have liked to have seen at some point as a Metallica concert. But what are you gonna do? I also would have liked to have seen Rob Zombie back in the day, but I'm okay with that. Not having seen that now. We'll want that spawn image again. We want to get some of the Todd rendering in on the steeple. I probably want to get this to the edge of the cross here. Or the edge of the, whatever the fucking thing's called. I don't think right in the middle like Todd had it. Well, he had it on one of the shots. Wasn't worried about consistency on that one. That's okay. Let's see here. Rob Zombie came to town here like 20 years ago. My friend followed him everywhere. Him and his wife were shopping at a Target. Aww. Poor Rob. What are the odds your friend was the reason he turned into an insufferable douche? Probably not, right? The reason Rob did, I'm saying. I realize that can come out weird. I've seen very few of the famous people in my time, I will say. Sorry, sharing that was far beyond the point he became an insufferable prick. Probably. So you're a Sean guy? I think I'm there too. I don't know how you argue with Sean Izzo. Who doesn't like Sean Izzo's green hair back in the day, right? She said she tried to seem inconspicuous. I'm thinking at that point they probably were used to it anyway, so like might not have been as inconspicuous as she wanted. Just I'm being so sneaky, and it's like, oh my god, here we go again. Okay, let's get this actually locked down here. Whatever you pick, you gotta be able to reflect. So, pick something smart here. That looks okay. So I interviewed Sean and found out they're both from the same area in North Carolina. Okay, cool. I've never seen an interview with Sean Izzo. I have no idea if that's how you pronounce her name. But I've always thought she was cool. She's metal as fuck. Like, how do you not get behind like a badass metal chick playing bass in a kick-ass metal band, right? Well, Sean Izzo would have been a bit older than John, I think. 59? Yeah, probably. Yeah, maybe. Still possible. Possibly. I feel like I should have a warning label. Shit, again, bumped it. Well, for sure, man. Yeah, there's always been a certain appeal. I imagine that. Whenever I find out some hot chick I've got a crush on is married, it's like, oh fuck, now she's off the market. Now I can't get her. But I was gonna say, I feel like I should have a disclaimer when people get a commission from me. If you have a character with long hair, I will make it look ridiculous. Not quite petty ridiculous, but like in the same kind of vein, you know? Not gonna give him a pompadour, I'm just gonna give him a pennant. Still falls under artistic interpretation. That's good. I'm gonna lean on that heavily. Think about Jigs read about the creator of Blood First Infusion. They find I know, right? I came in booby trapped. I'm so sorry, ladies. That is true. Yeah, no, I'm always just making it up from scratch. How would hair work theoretically? Because I have no evidence of how it works practically. I'm just glad I grew it out long once before it went away. So I had it short when I was a kid. My mom always wanted me to keep it short, probably because my dad had long hair. But I was in like my mid 20s. I grew it out to like, oh, like, you know, like foot and a half, 2 feet long, that kind of thing. And it got all Weird Al curly. And it's like, you know what? Okay, I wouldn't have known that did that otherwise. I'm glad now I know. Who draws hair that I like? There's a few people. I will say Rob does better hair than I don't know. I do kind of like the way Rob draws hair. It's terrible hair. You know, like if you saw it in real life, it's like, oh my god, what year do you think this is? Everybody looks like you don't mess with the Zoltan kind of shit. Or White Goodman. But I kind of like the way he does hair. I feel like most people can do decent hair. You know, any of those old image guys. Well, okay, maybe not like Todd. Todd, I don't like Todd's hair. Eric Larson either, really. But it started receding. Yeah. No, I mean, I had it looking great, and then I cut it to get a job, and then tried to grow it back again later, and it's like it kind of came back, but it came back kind of thin. You know, the hairline hadn't receded yet, but the hair was a lot thinner than it was the first time around. It's like, oh shit, this isn't right. And I imagine Larson does have the same problem with hair. I was thinking that, yeah. So what's Todd's excuse? He had the mullet going. I guess that's probably it. Just he doesn't know what good hair looks like. The sports guy. Sports guys don't have any idea what hair should look like. You ever see what hockey players and baseball players do with their hair? It's fucking awful. Hey, Rob, how you doing, buddy? Todd draws everyone with the 80s hockey hair. Yep, kind of. Yeah, Michael Turner and Travis Schray did great takes on hair. Adam Hughes. He's got like a little bit of the Art Nouveau thing he does with it. Yeah. I think Silvestri does great hair. Wills, not so much. Dale Keown did a good job from what I remember. Now I can't think of anything offhand, though. But then he's going off that John Byrne template, right? I swear I never saw the John Byrne influence in Dale Keown until I looked at some of his slightly earlier work, like from the beginning of his Hulk run. And it's like, oh shit, that's what that is. But yeah, always good to see you dropping by, Rob. Adam Hughes does great hair. He does great. Honestly, he's like, I don't think there's an aspect he isn't kind of great at. He can tone it down a little bit. Like restraint, maybe, sometimes, isn't his forte. That's about it. But, I mean, he usually knows what is appropriate for a given image, so I think it's fine. He doesn't usually go nuts with the cleavage on like the DC, you know, the kids might pick this up kind of issues. You really see the Byrne influence on Jim Lee for curlier? Okay, yeah, I can see that actually, thinking about it. Yeah. No, for his Cheesecake's pinup, but you got some of his little Justice League work. No, I mean, if you're just looking at his vanilla comics and you're just based on, okay, what's your skill level for creating comics? It's extremely high. I remember looking at that Gen 13 Ordinary Heroes. It's an excellent comic in terms of presentation. I mean, the story itself is whatever, it's fine. It's nothing special, really. But the actual presentation is incredible. It takes him way too long to do anything. So you're never going to get regular comics out of him. But when you do get a comic, it's fucking great. He's like a perfect cover artist. Just coming out like if you need in a pinch, you need in a 2-month pinch, you need a guy to come up with an extremely striking image. Like Adam Hughes is kind of your guy. J. Scoff Campbell. I think he did fine. I don't remember it being particularly awesome, but like Joe Mad with the anime influence. Oh, do we put veins in there on an undead guy? Ooh, there's a question. Probably not, right? We'll just do Lionel Francis U textures a little bit here and there. He's already a pretty jacked vampire. We don't need to go overboard with veins anyway. Adam uses everything amazing. Agreed. Not just hot girls, but he knows where his money is made. Yes. Well, I mean that. Yeah. I mean, when you draw hot girls the best, I guess you're kind of. It does behoove you to keep drawing the hot girls. It probably doesn't hurt that seems to be just his natural inclination. Just, man, I draw hot girls awesome. I'm going to do that all day. One thing I will say about J. Scott Campbell hair that I don't like is how it influenced Jim Lee. Because Jim Lee felt he needed to do that shit. And didn't pull it off as well. At least J. Scott Campbell arrived there organically. So it fits in with his style. Jim Lee, it never really fit. When he's trying to do that shit on Fantastic Four and everything. I don't think, I mean, again, we're looking at it in probably the wrong context. You can't, I don't think you can say they're bad. I don't know that Jim Lee's ever produced a bad comic. 1991. It's always just a case of your Jim Lee. Hey, Peter, how's it going? Jim Lee seems very humble. I believe that Jim said that. But it's always a case of, you're Jim Lee. I always thought you were the best. Why aren't you being the best? And, he hasn't really been the best since, I would say, Uncanny number 278. Well, maybe X-Men number 1. And then, it's kind of like, it's been very good or good. Which is not, it's not to the bar. I think he was bad on Gen 13, just doesn't fit that book and character. No, he wouldn't. That's the thing. That book's all about having fun. Jim doesn't have fun when he's drawing. Jim's trying to make money. Not quite full Hawkstab, but pretty close here. There's a bit more indication that this is hair in this. This is Hawkstab. I go a bit up more. Just no, it's a solid that's glued to his Gambit mask. Okay, this is pretty much Petty hair, actually, looking at it. That's okay. Petty won't draw the shit. I gotta draw the shit. Hey, Rob, I don't know if you ever saw those. Rob Norton. You're the only Rob here right now. Superman, Supreme number, I want to say 11 and 15. If you haven't checked those out, check those out. Those are fucking wild. I can identify the covers anyway. Supreme, the original Rob Liefeld, Brian Norton comic. Brian Norton, Brian Murray. Fuck's sake, man! I just completely zone out when I'm trying to do two things at once. My bad. Where's the original? Not 1997. Oh, for fuck's sake. 92. There we go. Would have been, I think, issue 11. Yes. Part of Extreme Prejudice, which is terrible. Definitely recommend going through it. And issue 15, yes. Part of Supreme Madness, which I didn't bother going through. If you have them, those are, I did videos on both of them. You can check them out. Those are both drawn by this guy named Petty. It's like, his name's like Pedram something. And he's like, he's Todd on something, man. Todd on acid. Let's go with that. Where Todd forgot how to draw in some respects, but in others he like opened his mind. If you're looking at for just like a one-shot issue, well, I mean, there's all sorts of reasons why Petty didn't get much work. For one thing, it sounds like he wasn't a whole lot of fun to work with. And I imagine he took a shit ton of time because there's a lot of lines on those things. He's always credited as artist, not penciler. And I mean, there's the fact that he wouldn't stop drawing balls, right? If we recall. He just ordered more overpriced new Liefeld crap from his site. Is there another new dumb thing? Oh, man. I'm not keeping up. What's the new Liefeld thing? I gotta find out about that. Balls like sports balls? No. Like he gave Supreme a giant package that was just all about balls, and then had all of the wrinkles in his outfit pointing towards the balls. And apparently Rob at one point had to take Petty aside and be like, "This isn't that kind of comic, man." Ask your brother what issue of Ghost Rider you worked on with text. Closest you could come up with was Volume 3, Issue 7. I will look that up. I can look that up right now because I'm on a completely legitimate site that somehow gives me access to every comic in existence. Ghost Rider Volume 3 would be the 2001 one that like Trent Kanyuga or whatever who did started on the art on that. Everyone has swollen ears. He didn't draw wrinkles on the balls. Not as much, yeah. 2001, nailed that part. Trent, can you? Holy shit, I got that too. That one looks like it only went to issue 7 or issue 6, so maybe not that. Is there another one? And I mean, it's not Tex. I don't know. It gets to the point where like Ghost Rider is one of those ones where they've had so many. 1990 Ghost Rider would be volume 2 then. Issue 7 would be his first penciling gig on Ghost Rider, I think, the Scarecrow issue. I got that a little while ago. Actually, not too recently I got, or not too long ago I got that, just like a couple months ago. I've been kind of stoked to get that. I'm actually thinking about looking at that on the channel at some point. That would have been like 1990. Yeah, you were in on that? Because that's pretty early. That's fucking dope. Because like I said, I was thinking of going over that one, mostly for the early Tex stuff. But shit, if you were in on that, do they credit you at all? No. Mark Teixeira, artist. That's it. You are part of Mark Teixeira now. we are all Mark Teixeira. But you Phil Blackstone. Oh, good shit, man. That's a good issue. That's a hell of an issue. That's the one where Blackout kills Barbara Ketch too. And yeah, it feels like it's Tex's first shot at the big time. So he goes pretty heavy at it. Like he's had his own series before, but it was that continuity with whatever the fuck. No credit. I know, man. I'm guessing, yeah, if you're filling blacks, you know, you're like one step up from Duotone at that point. But no, that's an awesome book to get a start on, man. Congratulations on that. Ghost Rider was the best book for Texas style, in my opinion. Sabretooth is a close second, a very close second. But like he brought so fucking much to Ghost Rider. Like he was the reason that book took off the way it did, I think, or you know, or at least why it kept going after the takeoff. Just how much friggin' atmosphere he brought to that thing. Backlow's Ghost Rider, really? That'd be very cartoony. I mean, it'd have to be a completely different book, right? $20.90. Oh, that one. Right. They ever paid attention how much time it takes to fill blocks? Still, of course, you had to do it. Yeah. Takes a little while. But it's the kind of thing you can do like without really worrying too much about fucking up, usually, at least. Good thing. I imagine it's a good thing to get an inker started on. Like a starting out inker. Yeah, fuck, I forgot all about Ghost Rider 2099. It's like, I looked through that shit, didn't I? Thought I did. Maybe not, considering how little I remember. That didn't look bad. It didn't look... You know, I still think Tex Ghost Rider cannot be topped. Oh, that works. Leaving it blank and filling it in digital. Why not? It's not like you're leaving out like a huge creative step, I suppose. Here we go. Theoretical hair. But yeah, I don't think Ghost Rider was ever better than, like, I'll say number one, Xavier Saltaire is, it's not quite the best version, but it's pretty close. Particularly when it's inked by Mark Texier. But from when Tex took over on the pencils until like 24, 25, whatever. That was its own book, man. Hey, man, whatever saves time when it comes to comics a lot of the time. To a degree, of course, but... if you can keep the quality high and stay honest about it and still find some time-saving measures, then yeah. That, what I said before. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoy it. I don't know that there was much likelihood of me trying any other kind of hair. This is the only way I draw it these days, so I'm kind of out of practice for doing even remotely realistic hair. Mostly painted backgrounds, yeah. Not to draw a parallel, but I remember when the AI thing was first started, and I knew a guy who was messing around with AI rubble background. And before it became a big moral standpoint, I was like, "Oh, you know what? That's not the worst idea. Nobody wants to draw that shit." Xavier Saltaire says Texas is really. Shit, have they ever worked together again since then? Because I thought they were great together on Ghost Rider. And what else has Xavier Saltaire done since Ghost Rider? Because that was his first work, I think. He looks a bit like Tex. Oh, no, not quite. He started in the mid-'80s. Okay. That was just when he became like a big name. Interesting. Worked on X, worked on Alien versus Predator Duel. I don't see a whole lot more than that. It doesn't feel like he stayed in comics too long. It looks like he also tried to adapt to a more current art style, which, you know. I don't know if that was a good idea. But that said, I also don't know what it's like to have established yourself. Well, maybe not quite establish yourself as an industry regular. And then trends start going one way and you stop getting work. It's like, what do you do? If they'd reference Salteris and Dex's work, and maybe. I don't know. I feel like the Ghost Rider movies are their own thing. The Ghost Rider 1 movie, it's like, okay, nobody thought that was going to be that great. Ghost Rider 2 movie is fun. It definitely has its own vibe. I'm okay with that and not having anything to do with the comic. It's a thing. I think about Trimpy, about how his work just dried up in the 90s because he was still drawing, but nobody wanted a 70s style, right? So he adapted, and it didn't go too well. The second movie is fun. That was by the guys who did Crank, I think. And it looks like, the Crank Universe Ghost Rider. But like they took a lot of artistic kind of liberties with that. Given he's always it's not even like his head's flaming so much as smoking a lot of the time. I'm gonna have to do more white in here. Kind of. And they do a lot of like messing around with the frame rates when they're closing up on Ghost Rider. We'll add a bit more in here. I'll come back and fix that up. That was fun, and I mean Nick Cage kind of he went a little nuts with it, as Nick Cage is wont to do. But yeah, no, Ghost Rider 2 is a much better movie than Ghost Rider 1. It's much more interesting anyway. He Nick Cage the shit out. He certainly did. Spider Noir trailer. I have not. I never keep track of those trailers. I just saw the He-Man trailer the other day, and it's like, oh, that is going to be lame. All right. Well, I was looking at some He-Man related content yesterday, so it kind of came up. Second felt to me that they gave more of a shit about the source material, but it still had the right. I don't know that they gave much of a shit about the source material. I don't know. Maybe I don't think they gave more of a shit than the first movie, really. Like they tried to include some elements in both versions, but they're still obviously both more concerned with making sure it's translatable to general audiences. But there's much more, like the first one was much more generic. It's just kind of standard superhero 2007 movie. Second one, they're like, I don't know, man. We the first Ghost Rider movie did okay, but not great. These guys are popular. Maybe we should just let them kind of do their own thing and try it out. And I don't think it was successful, but it was a much more interesting looking movie. Like if you want to get about the lore, Blackout's a Lestat reject. He's not some kind of gremlin looking dude. He's very, he's a fucking psychopath who's all charismatic and shit. And then he gets his face fucked up and that messes him up. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the second one's a bit more of a horror movie, at least. And again, just like much more interesting visually. Just about half of Wonder Man is really good. Okay. I forgot to even check it out. I imagine that's on Disney Plus. Okay, I'm just not going to get that hair looking the way I want it to look. I think I got to live with it. And stop fucking with it. I thought it was, it's just kind of standard generic superhero movie. It wasn't special at all, other than whenever Nick Cage started to transform, and then that was entertaining. I won't lie. But like that, when that's all you got going for you is the transformation, it's okay. That's not a great thing. You have to stress this out today. Oh well. I mean, honestly, there's Marvel movies are all over the spectrum anyway. There's a couple that are like really good. I don't think there's any that are great, but like, there's a bunch that are shit, and then there's a whole bunch that are just kind of, mushy middle. They're mid. If it's on when you happen to walk into a room, you might stick around and watch for 5 minutes. It's like, yeah, that's some fun stuff, depending on where you are in the movie. I feel like any excitement I ever had about Marvel movies was long over. It was really long over before Infinity War. But, hey, Monty, how you doing, buddy? I think I've said it before, but like the whole deal with the movies was always the excitement about like what would this movie be like, because you know you never had, it was so rare to get even a halfway decent comic movie up until 2007. Oh, maybe before that, when Marvel started going all in on like X-Men and Spider-Man. Those tended to be, well, some of them tended to be pretty good movies. And then you had the like, you know, there was a while there where it was like there was a fair bit of decent comic book movies. Nothing spectacular, but enough where you could keep speculating about what would a great comic book movie look like. I think they did fine for how, you know, the MCU 3 through Endgame. I thought you were a Marvels fan. The Marvels, whatever the fuck that show was. I'm talking to Monty at this point. But no, I mean, I I always thought the attraction with Marvel movies was the speculation about what would that movie look like. Not so, and then you kept getting examples of what a Marvel movie looked like, and it was like pretty good. You know, it like as far as the movie goes, it's not bad. It's not going to be the fan movie you think it is. Never. So tired of them ignoring the source material. I mean, they're always going to do that. They will never focus on the source material unless it's a whatever they're translating as a self-contained story. Then maybe, but even then, they'll probably get producers in who will start to tweak it to try and get it geared towards a more general audience, because that's always what producers want to do, because that makes more money, right? Like, you look at that first Avengers movie, it's fine. It's not super creative, and it doesn't really rely very much on the original lore. It's kind of similar to Ultimates. You know, but it doesn't bother with the comics too much. The overall story is like kind of pick and choose from a couple of different comic things, and then a standard, you know, super weapon, and we need a Phantom Menace. All the droids die at the end, kind of thing. I mean, we've seen it a couple of times where a flick adapted from another medium gets translated exactly. It's Sin City, and it's boring. Who's working on Daredevil these days? I don't even know. Current creator team, maybe? Stephen Phillips and Lee Garbett. Never heard of Lee Garbett. Looks fine. Kind of. Oh, I'm guessing that is the guy with three names, whatever his fucking name is. Daniel Warren Johnson? Yeah, probably. Yeah, that is too. That's a variant cover. The actual look, I don't know. Looks fine. Maybe. Oh, you didn't read the comic first for Sin City. That's the thing. I read the comics so many times before I saw the movie, and then I saw the movie, and it's like, I seen all of this. I'm just basically hear people saying the words, and hearing people saying the words is ridiculous because it's Frank Miller's script exactly. And it doesn't exactly translate to reality, you know? Lee Garbett, was that it? Yeah. British comic book artist. I mean, yeah, it's a good look. Good use of shadows. Kind of has that modern look where there's not a lot of rendering, of course. It's striking, though. It looks nice. He's a bit more black on the page than you usually get these days. I like that. Was he in the theater? Oh, that's cool. I mean, you downplay that, but at the same time, like, I've never done that shit. I've never been in the same room as Frank Miller. Malley was one of the best DD artists. He was interesting, for sure. I liked that version. I also like the Joe Quesada version. I feel like he really kind of upped the effort level on that when he was getting back to that. And like Joe Quesada could come up with some crazy looking shit. It wasn't. I mean, if you want to say like, was it like the heart of the character? Maybe not. Maybe not so much, but because that the heart of the character now is what Frank came up with in the '80s, right? Frank did an intro to the movie and its premiere also after. Yeah, I guess Frank is a New York guy, isn't he? That's right. That makes sense. I'm guessing you've had some interesting opportunities to meet dudes just based on where you live, man. He was back. Oh, is he not anymore? Oh, okay. No, I mean, Quesada poses, page layouts, like particularly 90s through mid 2000s. I don't know that he really drew much after that, but you know, that was some incredible looking shit. I feel like when oh, what's his fucking name now? Did Avengers Forever? No, not Salvador LaRocca. Carlos Pacheco. Uh oh. How do you spell it? Maybe I can go just read it out right. It's not Pacheco. Pacheco? Probably. Maybe. I feel like he had some elements of a bit of a Quesada style. I really, when it came to figure work, I really dug that. I feel like that's like, I feel like there's some kind of Pachinko. Yes, that's the one. I feel like there's a link to Neil Adams there somewhere, but I'm not sure. Up to Spider-Man one day, maybe Daredevil Father. After that is where it changed. Did it? Okay. See, that's the thing. I moved in 2002 away from Toronto, so and away from comic stores. I didn't have one, so post Daredevil, I didn't really see what he was doing. But I very much dug the Daredevil stuff. I loved what he was doing on X Factor. Not enough to say on the book after Peter David left, but I don't think anybody really would have done that at that point. Would have kept me on there. Like particularly for Scott Lobdell, you know. I don't know what I'm doing with these textures on the wing here, but it's interesting. Everyone has their golden era, and you don't mean Michael. I mean, there's a lot of people who had a Michael Golden era. A lot of people's favorite artists had a Michael Golden era. Dave Finch really digs Pacheco's work so much that he references poster. I didn't know who he was, and then I was buying some of that Avengers Forever when that came out, and it's like, who the fuck is this guy? The way he does figures is amazing. And then passed away, unfortunately, but yeah, no, poses like top tier, absolutely. Not many who can do it better, but I do feel like there's some similarities between the poses he picks and the poses Joe picked. People like Asada Sears are the only reason I bought Valiant. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, you're not the only one. I think a lot of people were there for the story at the beginning, but the problem was that, of course, then they kicked out Jim Shooter. And it's like, this is what you built your reputation on, was having strong storytelling. Not so much having good art, and now you're trying to compete with good art books on their terms when you don't have the top tier artists. Apart from Barry, Barry. They didn't have Barry at that point. Bart Sears and Joe Q. It's like those two could only float so many books, man. It was inevitable at that point. Okay, I don't know that that looks like a wing exactly, but it's interesting anyway. It kind of, I like that. I should go over something with Carlos Pacheco, but I don't know what would be the thing to go over for him. His stuff is amazing. I think he did a Starjammers series, Warren Ellis. That might be worth looking at. Did I feel like I might have picked up the first issue of that, but I can't remember now. He did. He did the Starjammers miniseries. Squadron Sinister. There's a couple of like miniseries that he started. Maybe I can look into that. Avengers Forever was the one that caught my eye. I always liked. I tend to like that. We're fixing continuity stuff, and Kurt Busiek was doing the script on that. He's pretty good at that shit. I think that was the first thing I ever actually saw Kang in. Kang the Conqueror. I remember the toy from the Marvel Superpowers stuff. No, well, it's DC Superpowers, the Secret War stuff. That was it. I think that's a cool looking guy. And then never seeing him in a comic. I missed everything that was going on with the Cross Time Kangs and the Council of Kangs and whatever the fuck Kangs. But that series, I enjoyed Kang in that series. I liked him. I kind of like. This is a villain I could get behind. His whole thing is just, conquering, conquering, conquering. And if he's not conquering, he feels like he doesn't have a point. And it's him, and there's this, thing where he learned that he was eventually to become the villain Immortus, who just is basically like a curator of time. And this Avengers Forever was largely about him fighting against the transition into becoming Immortus. And it was pretty good. You had a creator-owned book, Dragonsmith. Okay. Aerosmith. Is that what it's called? Well, I'm on the Carlos Pacheco's. Yeah, get back there, motherfucker. Image. Aerosmith, Behind Enemy Lines. 2022. Man, it wasn't long ago that he passed away, was it? 2022. Fuck. Age 60. That fucking sucks, man. Oh, it was ALS too. Fuck me. Christ, that's a horrible way to go. It was way older than 2022. No, it says comes out 2022. I mean, there might have been a different version came up before that. That said, I am going by Wikipedia, so there's a miniseries in 2003 as well, but then Image released an Aerosmith miniseries or collection or something in 2022 as well. The DC one was 2002, 2004, I think it said. 2003, 2004, yeah. No, I feel like you want to if you really want to focus on Carlos Pacheco, you probably want late 90s, early 2000s. I feel like that's probably his prime. So that'd be a good thing to go over. That guy was fucking great. Now, and Rob's here, so he's just going to do it like this week. Whereas I got to order it. God damn it. Oh, well. As long as somebody's looking at it. So was that just a reprint then, the 2022 thing? Probably, right? That might have just been an attempt to get him some royalties while he was having medical issues. I'm just, yeah. I do have that feeling sometimes, when you're on the chat and we start talking about comics, it's like, I should look at this comic one day. It's like, fuck, I should have said that in front of Rob. Now he's going to beat me to it. You're going to beat me to pretty much everything because you can record way, way faster than I can. Definitely looking to Avengers Forever then, first time I remember. Avengers Forever, I think, would be a tough one to go over. I might have issue 1. But it's so convoluted in terms of the concepts involved. Like it's fun to talk about, I guess. Maybe. But yeah, that was the first one that I noticed him on. Let me take a quick look, actually, see if I have that, because I know I have at least one issue. Oh, my legs ain't working. Okay, if I do, it's one of the ones that was left over and it was in such fucked up shape that I didn't keep track of it at all. Okay, it was probably like Avengers Forever #7 or something. I'll put that on the list. I don't think I'm placing an order again for a few months because money's pretty tight, but you know, I might get to it at some point. I hope I do. 1998. Who was inking that thing? Because I remember that thing being slick. Jesus Marino. I don't know who that is, but such a great looking book. Cover by Carlos Pacheco and George Perez. Interesting. I'm going to have to find some interviews where they actually say his name out loud. Because I said his name once and said it very wrong, and I took some shit for that. I want to make sure I at least get it somewhat right. Hey, Saboteur, how you doing, buddy? Oh, shit. I was thinking about going for a smoke. Not right now. The bangers are coming out. I feel like Saboteur conjured this. I do love how they basically just wrote us like they were given the script to the movie, and they just said, "Okay, that's the song. We're just gonna boil down the script." The flick is being re-released in theaters this year. Really? I did mean to watch that. I didn't. What the fuck was that video about? It looked like it was an apology for the death of Optimus Prime or some shit. Forty years since Transformers movie. Fuck's sake. I'm guessing Lee knew that. Uh-huh. 8-year-old, you loved it. 40. There's some very fun shit in there. It's very cheesy in parts, and a lot of it is kind of dumb if you're looking at it as an adult. But I don't give a shit, man. That movie's awesome. There's a lot of fun stuff in there. He's gone into a coma. Are we talking about Duke? He was out of a year-long tour of all things Transformers or something. Okay. I should have just checked it out. They're gonna duke it. Yeah. oh, is what are they? Because we're talking about the re-release. They're gonna duke it. No. Do Transformers always turn gray when they go into a coma? And let their heads fall to the side? Oh, okay. You were a little late on the shit emoji there. I got it. See, the thing, you can't joke about that shit because you're are only in on that. Like you're the guy with the finger on the pulse. You can make up whatever the fuck you want about what's going on in the Transformers universe, and I got to take it at face value. I would kind of love that if that had happened. Like I'd never stop poking fun at it. Now I'm disappointed. How long have we been going here? 2 hours. Almost. All right, I am going to get a quick smoke in, I think. This is sticking around, I guess. The tracing paper thing. It's so professional. How could I get rid of it? All right, I'll be back shortly. Oh, you know what? I should plug this thing in before I go. Because if we've been going for 2 hours, we'll probably run out of juice a little bit. What are we doing here? 54%? Yeah. Oh, come on. Yeah, come on. There we go. I will send you the back in 5 page for postage and handling. All right, just a second there. All right. Ugh. Now I get to see all the shit talking people we're doing. This is a commission for Sheldon. Yes. That's what you need to start doing, Rob, is multiple streams per day. That's the next step. All right, let's get back into this. I was just thinking I should start dropping in on more streams again. I had like 2 months there where I couldn't do fucking anything. And it was like completely pulled me out of the groove I was in. But like Pete, if you get openings coming up, I'd love to drop in on you again sometime. I think Don streams on Saturdays. I should see if he gets an opening. Not like the same kind of pace I was going during the campaigning, but you know, like maybe like an extra stream every week or so. Partially because I'd like to get some more work in on this thing. You know, I'm going kind of slow on it. I'd like to get the thing done. I know, right? The having emergencies around my schedule, that was very last minute. Just so disrespectful. Didn't happen mid Kickstarter? Yeah. That would have been worse. For sure. It did mean that all the momentum got sucked out of it. So like I'm now behind schedule and I got to catch up and get back, you know, like figure out where I was. So the thing's going to be late, unfortunately, but I can't do much about that. And I figure, I hope Kickstarter people will understand. Was looking forward to like a nice quiet Christmas. Didn't really happen. Tell you what, I'll buy another volume of Masters End off you. We'll call it evens. When I can. I do still have to find out how that story ends. I mean, I kind of remember the bit with Skeletor exploding, but yeah, the progress where that would be a good idea. Yeah, I do need to do an update. It's yeah, that's a good idea. Again, like just getting completely out of the groove for like 2 months. It just got me in like it completely derailed my momentum. I'm where I don't know what to do anymore. You know, I feel like I had a pretty good plan going, and then I just self-destructed. I gotta recobble together the plan. That's not a bad idea to DM me. Now I'll put something up before the end of the day. I think then I probably won't forget that quite as easily. Stapling as fast as I can. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, I had kids in my house and I didn't exploit them for child labor. What was I thinking? Well, I mean, that kid in particular, at least, it won't be too much of a concern because she's on the other side of the country now. She made it. So, with her kids, both of them, and the cat even. So, any emergencies come up and say, okay, well, talk to the people you're living with now. I feel like the other ones have their shit together enough that it's not going to be too much of a concern. I mean, to be fair, she was doing okay before this came down. I just kind of blindsided her. Now I got to make apologies for that shit. Right. Hey, WD, how's it going? Oh, that's a look. I think that looks okay for a texture there. I gotta post a solemn JPEG in the update. And doesn't make a whole lot of sense to be shading it right there. I mean, a lot of this shading doesn't make sense on this wing, but that's okay. I think it's all right. Turned out all right. And this thing's off center. closer to the mark. Yeah, he went with kind of a small one there. Bunch of texts apologizing, but doing absolutely nothing to make up for it. All the corporations and Kanye are doing, yeah. Hey, if it works. Okay, let's see here. I will say, whoever has to color this thing, I'm sorry. I don't think I made this particularly easy. Assuming it gets colored, you could just go with a black and white cover, I suppose. Might ever taking it easy on them? I guess not. Yeah, not too often. Yeah. It does mean like you can just kind of do what you want a lot of the time. And if something looks weird, you just blame it on the fact that there's lines all over the place and I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at. Oh yeah, good stuff. So, like, you know exactly what's going on here then, right? I'll throw in more random lines to make to make it a bit more to make it more clear. Really, is what I'll do. I do like the shadows that happened in here. That turned out pretty nice looking. Okay, so we got to figure out some of these background vampires as well. It is Spaceballs time, correct? Hey, K-pop, how you doing? Yeah, I want to get like a throng of vampires flying in here to descend on the city. Why not? I have at least taken up because it's the kind of thing that's like, oh man, this is gonna take forever. I have like inked like half the page at this point. It shouldn't theoretically be that hard. Did I say a throng? I think I said a throng. Did you say a thong? You did too, didn't you? Hey, Brain, how you doing, man? You are gonna get lead of color. Good shit. I feel like I gotta like start to initiate nukes here. Cause I'm having difficulty seeing what I'm doing sometimes. Okay. Can you turn a little bit? Yeah. I'll go like that. Is that gonna blast the thing? Yeah. Come on, stay up. Vampire to Thong is the variant. That's a bit oversaturated. Let's see if I can do something like get this a little bit higher. I don't think I can really. I've been fucking around with these arms so much that they just don't hold anymore. Yeah, I think it's gonna sink. That's not too bad. Better than Werewolf in a Thong. I mean, you're getting a little close to furry shit there. Let's do a bald vampire here. We don't, they don't all need to have hair. We gotta have respect for our bald vampire peeps. Yeah, all of Mitch's vampires look like Nosferatu. For some reason. It's a small panel. Well, all their clothes kind of pop off when they get the wings out, right? So you got a built-in excuse for lingerie model vampires. I guess I should make some of these women then, the vampires. That would make sense. I'm just kind of defaulting to muscular dudes, as is probably expected. Draw a bunch of bucktooth vampires from the old Stephen King movie. Yeah, that's the Nosferatu look. This is going to be just a torso, essentially. That's getting carted around. Willem Dafoe in Shadow of the Vampire. Yep. Doing his best Klaus Kinski. I think what I do is woo-woo hair, really. With all the swoops. If it could talk, that's what that hair would say. What is a Magnolia comics? Yeah, that I don't know. Steel Magnolia. Mignola? Ah, there we go. Was there a lot of carting around torsos in Hellboy? I guess that certainly could lend itself to it. I think we saw enough of Two-Fisted Kathy Bates action in that Jack Nicholson movie. About Schmidt, I think it was. Fried Steel Magnolias. Nah, let's just black that all in. There's a story where Hellboy cuts around an old corpse. It's just a torso. I mean, he did that in the first movie too, I guess, right? I will admit I don't know much about Hellboy apart from the movies. I have the first 2 volumes, but I mean the first volume is basically the first movie, more or less, just with a whole lot more lore. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it, man. I hate to disappoint you. I think it's gonna be like I'm gonna kind of gush over it a little. I don't think I can match the job you did on mine because like I'm just not as enthusiastic a person. But like, you know, the sentiment's the same, you know? Yeah, I'm going over it now though. I will say this is one of the tougher ones I've had to do. Just because it's hard not to keep in mind. You know, it's like, no, this is Rob's. Normally I could just kind of go and not worry too much about what anybody thinks because I figured none of them will ever see it anyway. I know you're gonna watch it, right? You know. Just don't ask how much Red Bull he drank before reviewing yours. Yeah, there you might have been on something at the time. This is Lion again, eh? How is this not the album name? Album title. The album title apparently was Dangerous Attraction. How is that better than Power Love? It's like a lion didn't really exist outside of the Transformers the movie. It's like this is why you didn't call your album Power Love. Okay, I do like this vampire here. I wasn't sure how that was going to come out, and that face looks kind of dope. I don't know if K-pop's still here. You said you were gearing up for a stream. Who you got on today? If you're still watching. I think maybe I missed the window there. No campaign tonight, but T.S. Luther and his book, The Digger. All versions of Jindy Engines. All right. There's a lot. I feel like I saw one of your videos talking about that, or maybe it was even somebody else's. Has he been on your show before? But I mean, there's a lot of material to mine there. There's all sorts of good explorer tropes that it feels like you could touch on. He was on for past campaign, but this one is being published by Invader Comics. Oh, okay, good shit. Good on him. But yeah, I feel like there's all version of Indiana Jones. Let me see here. I gotta look that up now. By a bunch of people have been picking up good shit. T.S. Luther. Let's see here. Digger number one. Yeah. That does look familiar. Good looking book. Great title. Like title logo. Issue 1 is out now. Good shit. All right. I feel like I'm getting kind of sprousy with these ink shapes. It's a little strange. That kind of reminds me of a cartoonish Way Shack. What is Way Shack? I don't know nearly enough about anything. That's some dope looking shit, I'll tell you that. Way Shack? Whatever. Fuck's sake. Yeah, I can kind of see that. Is Sam Goodillin doing the art on that then, I guess? See if I can get more, because all I'm seeing is the one cover, which is nice. I'd like to see more interiors. Oh, yeah, I can see it then. It's the kind of thing makes me wish I had an LCS around me so I could pick it up and look more into it. Yeah, I didn't know who Way Shack was. I'm sorry. That was one of the things I had to kind of reconcile when I was going on the interviews. Just like, man, okay, we'll talk about stuff, and I hope that I know enough about what we're talking about to kind of, you know, like get carried along through the conversation like mom through the department store, you know? Just kind of pulling my arm. Don't know nearly enough about artists if they have done any work since 2002. Don't know anything about current events. But I will talk about Merritt Michaels and Travis Charest and, you know, Carlos Pacheco all you want. You and me, bro. Yeah. Oh, thank God. I knew there was a reason that our channels turned out so similarly. Little like Bill Sienkiewicz. Yeah, it has that kind of chaotic element. Okay, this guy had a bit of a Seinfeld puffy shirt going on, but look, you don't get to choose necessarily your fit for vampire attack. Not everybody does, anyway. No, I feel like most of the current events I get on comics, this is it. I get it on the live stream here. Hey, puppy. How's it going? Thanks very much. It's a weird thing to say now. Okay, come on, finish your lines. Well, not, you're the second person today to bring up gargoyles. There is definitely an element of gargoyles in there. That was kind of in there from the jump. Kind of going a little bit different on feel, though, I would say. Who doesn't love Dave Coverdale and his crooning? Well, we're gonna get some blood in here too, so yeah, definitely a fair bit more serious. Although I feel like Gargoyles was one of one of those ones that didn't mind showing a bit of blood, at least the beginning. That was one of those shows I remember the first couple of like the pilot looking really good, and then the animation taking a sharp downturn after that. Who, Gargoyles or who, Dave Coverdale? Dave Coverdale was the singer for Whitesnake, and may very well still be. Was on the WB. Well, I mean, not originally. Again, if we're talking about Gargoyles, because that, I mean, came out before the WB was a thing. I mean, maybe the Warner Brothers network, but I don't think Warner Brothers network existed at the time. I guess that would have been Fox back then, right? As a reminder, it was okay. Gargoyles comic was good. Okay, okay. I don't remember I ever checking out the Gargoyles comic. I remember TMNT Adventures. That's about the closest I get there. Gargoyles was on the Disney Channel. It was shopped out to something else because I definitely didn't watch it on the Disney Channel when I was a kid. It's all Disney and Dynamite right now. New Demona series is fun. Okay. Fox because Gargoyles. It would have been Fox. Okay. They are still going and written by Greg Weisman. Okay, that's cool. Wasn't aware. I remember it strictly as like a late 90s kind of thing. As I'm sure, like a lot of people do, just because if it's not right up in your face in the zeitgeist and you don't necessarily, and unless you're looking for it, you're probably going to lose track of that shit. And yeah, I guess I am a comic artist. In that I draw comics. And I guess I've gotten paid for it now. Shit. I'm so used to saying, it's like, yeah, no, but I don't get paid. I'm just a guy who draws comics. Like, no, you're going to have to amend that now. Professional is maybe pushing it. I feel like when you're professional, you have other people who are who have interest in your success in terms of like financial interest. Again, that's kind of muddying the line on it a little bit. Shit. Employees? I don't know. Now I'm looking for a way to avoid calling myself a professional artist. Professional in quotation. That sounds about right. Okay, this guy's hairline is going to be out of control. So I wanted him looking down a bit more, but... You know what? It's okay. He was doing he was getting creative with the hair, the comb over and the part. And now that he's gotten his throat ripped out, it's just, he can't maintain it anymore. It's a shame, but it happens. You're a subcontractor? Yep. Yeah, me too, Monty. I'll always be that small YouTube comic artist to me as well. And let's dramatically shadow this guy as well. Hey, Comic King, how you doing, bud? Sunday mornings, Wednesday nights. That's the routine. Now that there's a routine again. All right, man. I appreciate the sub. Thank you very much. You reevaluate it when I hit 5K. Or I'm gonna have to wait like another year or so for that. So I'll just be in development hell until then. That's fine. Yep. No, those hawk stab hairstyles are pervasive. You never know where they're gonna pop up. And that's 3 on whether or not this is gargoyles. No, this is vampires, but one of the vampires had long hair, And I mean, I like to inject drama into a drawing. One way you can do that is with hair. Yeah, I'll fix my drink here. Oh, and get my legs into a slightly different position for a minute. Time is it anyway? About 3 hours. It's the it is. They're very much gargoyle wings, and I mean they've got the Legacy of Kain claw hands, which I didn't even think about were very similar to the gargoyle claw hands. And I mean this guy does kind of look like the little green dude, doesn't he? Shit. It is thong vampires, yes. A thong of vampires. That arm is going a little too far out there. Sparkly vampires, the Chinese vampires are blade vampires. Oh man, Chinese vampires. Haven't thought about those in a long ass time. Right. I remember playing a video game with involving Chinese vampires where they just kind of bounced around. It was terrifying, but for different reasons than usual. Oh no, nobody needs to see that. Well, okay, maybe some people need to see that. I'm sure there's, Rule 34. I'm sure it exists. Let's get a little. Let's give him some showing ribs here. That's fun. There we go. And we'll blacken. A little bit under here. Pop him out a bit against the guy, and again, uplighting. Vampires should never sparkle. Trying to think of a good enough reason for a joke for that. What about Hollywood Vampires, the band with Johnny Depp and Alice Cooper? Okay. What does Johnny Depp do? Does he just kind of like do his Jack Sparrow run back and forth across the stage? Because I would pay to see that. Oh, is the main guy purple? For a second there, I was like, you know what? That would work. Oh, shit. No, that's Goliath. Glitter is the enemy. Oh yeah, I mean you. I mean if you use that on even like a little bit of something, you're dealing with that for the rest of the week, I guess, right? I had kids. I recall. So like maybe these were like outreach vampires who were just like helping out with the kids down at daycares and shit, and like making, I don't know, whatever you use sparkles for. And they probably knew. It's like, oh fuck, I can't get too close to that stuff. They're gonna think I'm one of the Twilight vampires. But like as soon as you step in the room with a sparkle, that shit's latching onto you. All right, Pete, man. I'll talk to you later, hopefully. Thanks for stopping in, man. Craft glitterous craft herpes. that's not the worst. Yeah, I'll take that metaphor. What about the giant alien Cthulhu monsters in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and 3? Those ones sparkle. He did kind of nice them up in 3, but you know. That'd probably be intimidating. They shot out sparkle dust. It doesn't make it right. Fair enough. Found glitter for 6. Yeah, that would do it. And of course, I imagine everybody here has seen From Dusk Till Dawn. If you haven't, like, where's Robo? Is Robo still here? Robo's kind of young. He might have missed the window on that. But if you haven't seen From Dusk Till Dawn, you have to see From Dusk Till Dawn. The only bad thing about the From Dusk Till Dawn is that they couldn't market it the way it should have been marketed, which is as a Tarantino movie featuring Seth and Greg Gecko. What's his fucking name? Richie. Where they're on the run and from the cops, and that's it. That's what you get in the ad. And then you go to that movie, and halfway through, it completely goes, gotcha. But like, you gotta have Salma Hayek dancing in a bikini in the ad, because that's, I mean, who's not going to see that, right? Oh yeah, your friend's room is a stripper. Good God. You hear sometimes about the horrors of that job. That's one I don't even think I ever consider. This dude is totally that fucking tiny gargoyle. God damn it. Hottest film has ever looked? Agreed. Not even close. Like there's the runner up is not even worth mentioning. Whatever that is. I guess it's probably like Once Upon a Time in Mexico or something. Is it Once Upon a Time in Mexico or would it be Desperado? I guess it'd be Desperado. I'm thinking. And hey, Louise, how's it going? Vampiro from WCW. I didn't watch a lot of WCW. Desperado, yeah, I think so. I do remember the name. Oh, were they? Oh, that's. She's not in What's Upon a Time Next. Okay, yeah, no, that was just the thing that jumped in my head. It's like, what's the Robert Rodriguez movie? That's not mariachi. Oh yeah, you definitely got to get into a Selma Hayek marathon. Was she in it? Start with her most recent stuff. Yeah, I think everybody remembers her showing her jugs in Desperado. It just took me a second to remember what Desperado was. Oh, that's a good idea. I hate cutting off Wigwam, but so this song is called "Show Me Your Tits" by Anvil. Oh dear. Those are some fun wings. I like those. It is a great way to pay tribute to Salma Hayek and her uh, contribution to film and Mexican culture. I forgot completely she was in Wild Wild West until it was mentioned there. I think that was a Monty quote, right? Or a comment. That's the one I was thinking of, the unibrow Selma. I don't know who she was. Is this one on my list? I think it is. Hmm. Anyway. No, I know. She was going for a very specific historical figure. It's just, that almost feels like, did we need to focus on the unibrow? Can we not just have Selma Hayek? Like, play her? Probably have like a bit of intestine looping down here, right? I'm not particularly skilled at drawing intestines, but I'll take a shot at it. It's very prominent in her art. Okay. So she turned that into her brand? Is that the creator of the comic you're doing? That would have been a good idea, wouldn't it? To it would have meant Sheldon having to send me pictures of himself, but no, I didn't think of that until you said it there. So unfortunately, that's not going to be the case unless you happen to look like this Sheldon. He's really digging those fingers like through his shoulder, but shh, doesn't matter. Maybe that's just how he rolls. There we go, little bits flying out. I know it would have been a good idea. Didn't occur to me. I don't know. Do you have hair, Sheldon? That's the question. Because if you do, then we can fudge it. If not, we're kind of shit out of luck. Sheldon is an enigma. Enigma that spends an awful lot of time chatting on live streams. There you go. That's kind of covering our bases. If Sheldon has hair, he's the victim. If he doesn't have hair, he's the vampire. That's how you do an Easter egg. But he does sparkle. Here we go. Let's get on to a different artist. Three Anvil songs in a row is pushing it a little bit. Sorry there, Comic King. I mean, he's uplit. Well, if we're talking about the vampire here, he's uplit, and there's blood all over his face. He's got to sparkle a little bit. The right kind of sparkling for a vampire. Don't. I mean, he always could. And, it's up to Sheldon whether or not he'd like to decline to pay at that point, I guess. There you go. It was a Monty idea. It was a terrible idea. And Sheldon's letting us know where his face reveal is. He's giving us the link and everything. No. Sheldon would never go to a strip club. That would be unheard of. Just like Rob would never go to a strip club. He's got too much self-respect, is what it is. Yeah, I think I remember you saying that before, Lee. It's down to not so much the mirrors themselves as the mirrors being backed with silver back in the day. I mean, there's other fairly logical reasons for it, just like a soul thing. But I mean, if that's the legit one, or as far as anybody can tell, I would be willing to buy that. Silver nitrate was part of the development process, hence the silver. Okay. No, that's true. Sheldon is a saint who would never go to a strip club unless it was like nun themed. You might be into that. I don't know. Like all saints have their weaknesses, right? Yeah, no, I know that leads down for that one. So we're gonna need you to incorporate a couple of naughty nuns into the background here, or at least one somewhere. It's not my forte, so I'm not. I'm gonna leave it up to you. That is how you get naughty nuns to repent, is by throwing money at them. Yeah. It seems counterintuitive, but where's my 08 at? There we go. Put a blank billboard on there. Well, you know what? I've got my little signature spot set aside here. If you want, you can blank that out and just put in like nun tits. I'll leave that up to you. Whatever works. Exactly, right? Well, they're not there. I mean, you got to wait until the coloring process is done, man. It's a little bit lengthy. There's a problem. Sometimes 18 plus material, it's behind a paywall, but it's also behind like a time wall. This is my next book. Uh-huh. I feel like Rob just comes here for inspiration. That is true. Lee is very fast, so you're not really waiting so much on him coloring as me finishing the inks, which will probably take another few weeks. Although if I am dropping in on more streams, that'll accelerate things. So that's part of the reason I'd like to do that. How are we doing on the power here? It is dropping a little bit, but we're doing okay for now. We can go for a little while longer. Shit, how do I shade this thing? Yeah, it puts a bit of a mess. It kind of makes sense in my head, though, so I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm finding some interesting shapes in the ink here today. Yeah, it's been a while since. I mean, Omer's dropped in on mine once or twice in the meantime. I got to return the favor. Sisters of Sin, that's not bad. I mean, it's, we had Sisters of Mercy. That was kind of close. Let's see here. Okay, you fucking stay put. I'm not enjoying how wobbly this page is getting. Somebody pointed out that the board I drew this on was upside down. That's how fucking out of it I was when I started this. Didn't even realize. So I got the Strathmore logo like down at the bottom here. So I apologize for that, Sheldon. I guess it doesn't really matter too much, and it won't in the if you end up using it. Maybe I should start doing that as like a calling card thing. I'm gonna do all of it, sure. Well, you know me, I would be okay with that. Particularly now that I got my Lightbox thing. Just like, okay, now we can redo all this shit that I fucked up the first time. I should be drawing it upside down, should I not? To flip the page and then render it that way? That'll make for a unique finished work anyway. Oh, the vampire, the bat's hanging upside down. Got your brain. Thank you. And then when it's complete, you can hang it upside down if you want. I wouldn't blame you. And yeah, brain would be all over that. Okay, this is not. All right, clean that up a little bit. That's a bit messy. All right, so I think we'll say this is going to be a 3.5-hour stream, so we'll give it 10 more minutes. Again, my finger's starting to get sore. Never takes long when I'm using the Pigmas. Remember the 5-hour streams? 5.5 sometimes, I think. Boy, those were the days, eh? Back when I was young. Camera made it right side up. Oh, yes, I did see that. Where with the bats hanging upside down, but they did it black and white and reversed it and threw in, like, I think it was Sisters of Mercy or something like that. It wasn't quite goth, it was like proto-goth. It seemed like, yeah, you were looking inside of a goth club. It was great. Or maybe it was like Depeche Mode or something. I don't remember exactly, but it wasn't quite in the goth era. Or at least not the goth era I'm thinking of, you know. Again, these shadows don't make sense. I don't care. It's fine. Tape up a handle to make it easier on your fingers. I think that's a Sam Keith trick going back a bit. Really, I should be fixing it by learning how to use a pen nib. And maybe like easing up my grip. That would be the best way to fix it. Because there is no reason to be gripping it, like death gripping your pencil. We do not mention Depeche Mode? What? What's wrong with Depeche Mode? Sam covered all his tools and sponges. Yes. Yeah, I know. He fucked up his hand pretty bad. God bless him for doing it. Honestly, I should. There was a while there where I was focusing on just using a lighter grip on my pens, and it was working out all right. And then I just kind of forgot slowly over time. Just make a handle. So making a big, like, plushy handle. That's manlier than coming up with a solution and acting on it based on just like, okay, change your methodology. Like turning my pen into a stuffy. That is the more manly option. Oh. I should try that out with just like a grip of some kind to see if that has any kind of effect. But there's the, I think I shared this before. I got this from Uncle Jerk, where there was like an old clip of Neil Adams where he was talking with some kids and he was talking about grips and saying how, like he's like, okay, try to take my pen from my fingers, and it's just like whoop, and it's like, because he's barely holding onto it at all. And also saying, draw from your shoulder, not your wrist or your elbow or anything. Really. And I mean, Neil's style had some issues later on in his career, but on that one, you could probably take his word for it a bit. Draw from your hip? Yeah, absolutely. Just over and just like Mike Tyson that page. And there's a lot of pencil in here. Shit. You saw the video Neil teaching the kids how to draw? Yeah. Adam Hughes draws from his wrist. Good enough for you? Yeah, that's, I mean, fair. Adam Hughes also takes forever and is far better than any of us here will ever be. So there's that. But, you know. But yeah, no, it seemed like good advice. It doesn't. There's no reason to be death or pencil, or pen or whichever. You can just like ease up and get the same results, if not similar results. There, just thinking of Neil Adams' style, he did get a little bit sloppier. But the drawing from the shoulders definitely is a big one, particularly when you're doing long lines. It's a tough one to integrate, but it does work. Shit, this thing is not in. There was too much pencil thrown on this thing. Okay, Crumbly, go to work. Do something. Nah. Ah, well, there'd be some leftover pencil. I guess that's not the worst thing. Yeah, whatever produces good results. Yeah, again, hard to argue with. Kind of glad we had this talk actually, because I forgot all about that aspect. The loosening up the grip, the drawing from the shoulder, all that stuff. It's been like a couple of years now since I thought about that video. Okay. Let's see if how many textures I missed. Because I thought the graphite was ink. Probably not too many. Right? Not over the whiteout, please. Okay, let's fix up that eye a little bit. That's not quite right. That's a bit more what I was looking for. Yeah, looking all right. Doesn't mind prefers to use whiteout. Brought up how some makers brag about not using whiteout. You gave a golf clap. No, I mean, it's a tool. Fucking use it. Like, yeah, you can, you know, that's all well and good if you can do it without using whiteout. Why not? Can you draw, you know, like do your pencils without using an eraser too? Should I clap for that? It's a good job. But like, you know, how good's the finished product? If you can incorporate whiteout and it still looks good, why wouldn't you fucking do that? All right. So that's been about 3.5 hours. I could use a smoke again. I think it's about time to wrap up here. Now use a pencil, ink, color paper when you create your comic. Oh, I could do the thing where you like have like all the different colors, colored paper, and then you just do different elements, and then you cut them all out and integrate them at the end. That's what everybody wants to see out of this channel, I think. Particularly from me, because of how well I know color. All right, thanks, Sean. I'm glad you're liking it. I like how this guy turned out. Wasn't for sure if that was gonna be if that was gonna turn out well, but yeah, no, I think it's all right. And Sokol's looking pretty good. We're like over halfway done now, I'd say. Just gotta do in a whole bunch of fucking tiny vampire bat winged people, which I did not really draw at all. I just kind of indicate where they will be. I'm sure that'll be easy. Just up the contrast on the pencils. Honestly, I prefer doing inks. I don't like doing pencils anymore. Used to be okay with it, but it feels like a half measure. You know? It's not dark enough on its own. It's like, no, this is the finished product. Anyway, as Brain said so famously, and of course, yeah, of course, every time, right, Lee? Colorist knows best anyway. All right. I will bug out. Thanks for sticking around, guys. It's been a very fun stream. I'm hoping to have a video out tomorrow that will focus on an independent work by a peer. Let's go with that. Yes. Again, hopefully for tomorrow if I can get it edited today. If not, it might have to be on Tuesday, but we'll see how that goes. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out, guys.